Hey guys, welcome back to the Changing 100 Now podcast. Okay, Adnan. So I have a female client and she's worried about her husband. She's like, she thinks he's going through a midlife crisis. Now, what's your take on that?
The midlife crisis, right? I don't call it the midlife crisis because to me it's not a crisis.
I don't think so either. It's a great thing.
It's a midlife redesign. Why? What happens, right? When we're young, we build this life that we think we're supposed to build, right? So we do what everyone else, kind of what society, whatever culture you're in. So as men, we build a life that we're supposed to build, and we look out. And if you're a good man, that means you look out for other people, right? You take care of other people. You do what you got to do
without being a punk.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, look, you build your career, you build your, you build your life, you build your family, you do all that. What happens, man, is when we get to our 40s, we're fundamentally different people. We're not the same man that we were when we started building this life. So what happens is when you're in your 40s, you look back and say, wait a minute, everyone else around me is taken care of, everyone else is happy, but I'm not. So Shaq, what do you think are the main steps or some steps people need to take when they're going through this midlife redesign?
Great question. And before I answer that question, if you like anything in this podcast, please subscribe. And if you think anyone could benefit, please send them our podcast. Okay, so the steps I think people should take for a midlife redesign. So the thing is, when you hit a midlife redesign, you feel trapped, right?
For sure.
Kind of like you were saying, you've done everything for everyone else your entire life. You did things for yourself that thought would make you happy, and it's not working out. So the first thing you need to do is totally mentally check out of everything. You need to get as far away from your current life to get some peace and solace to come up with your new idea.
Yeah.
So what I personally did is I went out of the country for 5 days and I basically just sat with my thoughts. I sat with my thoughts. I didn't say, well, I'm planning on doing this. If you sit with your thoughts, eventually it will come to you. Yes. It will happen. If your wife is against you going out of the country, because some people's wives are like this,
sure.
She should trust you anyways. If you're married to someone, if you have even 1% you don't trust them, you shouldn't be married. Yeah. But some women are still kind of eerie. So you need to tell them, look, I need to do this for my happiness. I need to find out what my passion really is. Okay? And if she's not with that, you're probably with the wrong person. But nevertheless, when you get away, your subconscious will tell you what to do. And then when you get that answer, you need to follow that passion with absolutely no plan B. You have to do it with no plan B because this is what resonates in your heart.
Yeah.
And you gotta follow your heart in these situations. Yeah. Adnan, you did a great redesign. In fact, you've redesigned yourself a couple of times. So how'd you go about it?
So man, I was around 38, and I realized that what I was doing, I loved it, and I love my life, but I felt like I was at 1% of my full potential. I was at a leadership conference, and one of the speakers said, hey, what would your life look like if you were living at 100% of your full potential? Right? Yeah. And I thought to myself, I don't know. I have no idea. I've never thought about that. I've never taken the time to think, right? What is my full potential life? What is my 100? That's when Chasing 100 was born. And that's when I started to really write out my 100, right? So I would leave my profession, launch my own business, travel the world, meet amazing people, coach, CEOs, business owners, politicians, athletes, professional athletes, and make an impact on millions of people. So that was kind of the whole thing. So the first step for me was creating that vision.
Yeah, that's the perfect attitude. See, the attitude that you have, and this is the attitude everyone should have, is I'm either going to succeed or I'm going to die trying.
That's it.
There's no failure.
That's it. So there's a saying, beautiful saying, right? Jump off the cliff and build your wings on the way down. That's exactly what I did.
Action, yes. Absolutely.
And I remember sitting there in a small apartment in Bogota, Colombia. It's a little bit cold, right? In the mountains. And I remember thinking like, okay, I jumped off the cliff. What do I do now? So you just
have to be scary.
It's very scary, very nerve-wracking. But man, you gotta have the guts to do that if you really want to chase your 100 in life. By the way, at that time I was divorced, so it's a little different in my case because I was able to do that, just kind of leave, literally. In other people who are married, they can't.
No, but you can do it for a week.
For a week, exactly. Exactly.
That's all it took for me was 5 days.
Yeah. See, that's a great point. That's a great point. For me, it took a lot longer. Anyway, okay, so Shaq, what do you think are mistakes that people make?
Okay, so the first thing you have to understand is you can't go against your values. So if you don't gamble, don't start gambling. If you're not into expensive sports cars, don't buy a $200,000 sports
I
cars.
think that's what you're supposed to do in a midlife crisis.
Whenever you're incongruent with your values, you will never be happy. So I'll give you an example, from my own life. Every bad deal I've met, or every person that I really shouldn't have hung out with or dealt with, as soon as I met them, I had this feeling. My gut told me something was not right about it, and I ignored my gut and I paid for it always. Never go against your intuition. It's never wrong. So now, a lot of times, I'll be in situations where everything seems fine, everything seems great, but my gut is telling me no. I don't even question it. I'm out the door right away, no matter what.
So the main thing is trust your gut.
Trust your gut, always. It's never wrong.
Yeah.
It's never wrong.
Yeah. That's a great point. Okay. All right. Anything else? Thoughts on this, on midlife redesign? The only thing I would say, Shaq, to wrap up is go for it. What are you scared of? You're not satisfied where you are. So make those changes. Make those needed changes.
And see, one thing people have to understand is anybody can do this. Adnan is not a superhero. I'm not a superhero. We just are people that read and want to live our best possible life. And it's not even about money, okay?
Exactly.
I am not the richest I've ever been right now, but I'm the most fulfilled because I'm doing something I actually believe in.
That's a great point. Yeah, that's a great point. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. See you guys
Thanks, guys.
next time.
We'll see you next time.